Welcome to the Gyrl podcast. I'm Kyra Mitchell-Lewis, and thank you all for joining. I hope you all are having a fabulous week so far. Well, it's Thursday, and you know what that means. I'm bringing you a new episode with an amazing guest today. So I am talking all things self-care with my guest, Candy Washington. Candy is an actress, writer, and content creator. She's executive produced, wrote, and starred in the film Narcissist, which you can find on Amazon Prime Video and SoFi TV. She also enjoys partnering with like-minded brands on meaningful social media campaigns and beauty, fashion, wellness, and lifestyle. As an on-camera talent, she played a leading role in The Salon, which was produced by Kelsey Grammer and Tom Russo, and won Best Comedic Ensemble at the Indie Series Awards. Candy's published 5 books and hosts a popular iHeartRadio podcast called The Soft Life, Self-Love, Manifestation, and Healthy Relationships, which was named a podcast we love by Elizabeth Banks's Hoo Ha Ha network of inspiring women. Additionally, she volunteers at the LA Covenant House for at-risk youth when she's not binging crime podcasts. Stay tuned. I'll be right back with Candy. Welcome back to the Gyrl podcast. I'm Kyra. Thanks, everyone. I'm so excited to welcome Candy into the podcast. Welcome, Candy.
Thank you so much. I'm excited to be here and just looking forward to it.
Awesome. Well, let's get started with you telling the audience out there who you are and what you do.
Yes, so I'm Candy Washington, and my personal passion and purpose is to add value to the lives of others through storytelling. So the way that I do that is through my podcast, The Soft Life with Candy Washington, where I provide just practical tools and techniques to really love yourself, boost your self-esteem, have healthy relationships with yourself and with others as well. And then I also provide very down-to-earth, non-woo-woo manifestation practices as well to really co-create your dream life. I've also produced and written a film called Narcissist, and that's on Amazon Prime TV, and it's also on SoFi TV as well. And I've written a couple books along with a self-love journal, and I also do social media content. So I like to partner with like-minded brands to bring about, inspiring campaigns as well. So those are a few things that I do. And then on top of that, I also create courses on self-love, on lifestyle design, and on manifestation that people can really use at their own pace to really lead a more joyful life. And everything that I create, I always think, how is the person who is engaging with this content going to feel? And I always want to make sure that they feel a couple of things. One, that they feel inspired, that they too can, go out there and do it. So that feeling that they can go out and do it is also empowered. So I want them to feel that inspiration, like, wow, look at that. And then I want them to have some tools and takeaways that they feel empowered to do it as well. And then I also want them to feel aspirational. So go even bigger and beyond than you thought you could go. Don't just think, oh, I can get that too. Well, I can get that too, and then some.
Yes. Well, that is awesome. And, Candy, one of the reasons why I was really excited to have you here is because everything you just said, it really aligns with the Gyrl community and what we strive for, giving people practical tools and actually telling them how to do something. But I really love that it's you want people to be inspired. You want to empower them to do, but also there is like aspiration and like dreaming really big. Like those are all things that like we co-sign over here at Gyrl. we love that. And I think that's so important because we do live in a world at a time where people discover something and how to do it, and then they refuse to almost like share with other people. So a lot of times I always say to people, like, don't come on this podcast if you're not willing to give actual tangible tips to tell people how you did something. Because I don't want somebody on here just saying like, well, I had a really great idea and then I got rich and I stopped working and started working for myself. And I'm like, no, that's not what we want here.
That's not it. There's no gatekeeping here.
Yeah.
There's no gatekeeping here. And I think the best way to receive is to give.
Yes.
That's really the best way. So like to hold something on, regardless if they have like money or success, they're still not going to be fulfilled because they're still in
Mhm.
scarce mentality. Because
Yes.
the only reason why you are fearful to give something away, whether it's your insights, your strategy, your blueprint, what you did, is because somehow you think there's not enough, or if I give it away, it'll be taken from me. Or
Yes.
you're still living in competition where it's,
Yes.
I don't want this person to surpass me, or I don't want this
Exactly.
person to glow up
Right.
the way I glowed up. So you're still not actually, because it's never about the thing. You could have all the money and the cars, you could look this, that, and the third,
Mhm.
but inside you're still miserable, you're still struggling,
Mhm.
you're still unhappy. If you're thinking scarcity mentality, if you're thinking that other, particularly women, are your competition rather than
Right.
collaborators,
Yep.
then you're still living in chaos in your own mind. And it
Mhm.
doesn't matter what you get, you're still going to be miserable. That's why you have people who you think on paper have everything and they're still unhappy and very miserable. And then you
Mhm.
have other people who may not check all the boxes, but they're happy and they're fulfilled and they're glowing and they're giving, you know?
Exactly. Yes.
So,
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. I mean, it's like whatever I know, like I'm gonna tell somebody how to do it. I'm
yeah,
gonna hopefully tell you so you don't have to like go through the same pitfalls. You don't have to do the same, you don't have to go the route that I did it. Let me try to
yeah,
help you and make it easier for you. And I just feel like even in this day, we still don't have enough people who are willing to just pay it forward, so to speak. Like just give, like have a giving mindset. All
actually,
right.
100%. So ask away, ask me anything. I don't get,
Yes.
so let's do it.
Love it. All right. So let's talk about self-love. Let's talk about self-love, self-care, and self-concept.
Okay, so let's dive in. So, particularly with like the wellness industry, sometimes self love, self care, and usually self concept is just for like the manifestation community. I'll
Mhm.
break down what each of them means, but
Mhm.
sometimes it's like fluff, it's inflated. It's like we're gonna go to our spa day, that's self-care,
Mhm.
self-love, gonna get my nails done, and all of those things are great, but it's what is the intention behind it?
Mhm.
Because true self-love and true self-care isn't about what you do, it's about why you're doing it. So the spa day isn't about posting on Instagram that you went and got a spa day and your facial done. It's about, you know what, I can take the time to take care of myself. I
Mhm.
deserve to rest and reset. I deserve
Mhm.
to invest in my own happiness and leisure, right? So whatever that looks like for you, because that could look different to different people. To me,
Mhm.
that could look like meditating. So somebody
Mhm.
else, that could look like taking a walk in the park. For
Mhm.
somebody else, it could look like taking a nap. But for some people, it might look like getting your nails done or getting your hair did. You want to feel good and you want to look good in yourself, and that's
Mhm.
fine. But I think sometimes the emphasis is on how much money you're spending or what the Instagram photo is going to look like,
Mhm.
rather than the intentionality behind it, which would be, I want to take care of myself because I love myself and I deserve it. So
Mhm.
that brings us to the meaning of self love. So self love is really cultivating a compassionate relationship to yourself that's rooted in self forgiveness, that's rooted in grace, that's rooted in love and acceptance. That's
Mhm.
really what self love is. It's developing a compassionate relationship to yourself. You don't criticize, you don't judge. Of course, you hold yourself accountable, but in a compassionate way. The same way you would
Mhm.
hold a child accountable, right? You wouldn't,
Mhm.
well, hopefully you don't, in a
Yeah.
healthy way, you would lovingly hold them accountable. Hold that same
Mhm.
space for yourself in a loving way. It's really cultivating a gentle, compassionate, graceful, giving yourself grace
Mhm.
relationship to yourself. That's what self love is. Now, self care is the tools and the techniques and the practices that we use to cultivate that loving relationship to self.
Mhm.
I love myself, therefore, I take care of myself. That's why
Mhm.
self care can look different for different people, because the way we show and experience love is different. That's why, you have like the
Mhm.
5 love languages, right? So the way I
Mhm.
experience taking care of myself might look different than somebody else, right? But it's
Right.
use the tools and the techniques and the practices. That looks like creating healthy boundaries. That looks like working on your communication skills. That looks like, being financially free and yourself, having financial independence, so you don't feel that other people can take advantage of you financially. It looks like taking a walk in nature. It looks like therapy, group therapy, up leveling your friend group. It looks like prayer. It looks like having a spiritual connection to a higher power. It looks like drinking more water, eating better food. That's really what it is. It's I love myself holistically. So then what are the tools and the techniques and the practices of a lifestyle that I then can create for myself that reflects that love? It looks like taking breaks. It looks like going on.
Yeah.
It looks like, pushing back when you need to. It looks like saying yes.
And saying no when you need to.
And saying no when you need to. That's really what self-care is. Having the emotional intelligence to create boundaries is just as much self-care as going with the girls to brunch on Sunday and just relaxing, letting your hair down.
Right.
It's the same thing. They're all tools and techniques and practices that elevate you to the highest version of yourself, that's rooted in the relationship that you have with yourself, that prioritizes your well-being first and best. So one of my biggest mantras and beliefs that I have for my life now is that my well-being is my first and best priority. Because I used to be very codependent, and I used to people please, and I used to, look outside of me to inform who I was. And as I got healthier on my journey, as I got more, loving, shifted from low self-esteem to high self-esteem and healthy esteem of self, shifted from being codependent, needing other people to validate me, to validating myself. That's when I really got to the point where I was just like, God, insert whatever belief you have. For me, it's God. God gave me this life. And the best way that I can show gratitude for the life that God gave me is to take care of it, is to honor it, it's to put it first. Because the things that we cherish the most, we make it a priority, we put it first, and it is our best thing. And at the end of the day, your life is the thing that you should cherish the most.
Okay, so girl, let's just say, first of all, I love everything you just said. I love it. I love it. I love it. And I almost look at like everything you said is like an elevated version of like self-care, self-love, because I think the most important thing you said to me was, when I think about, self-love, I'm right there with you. Like one of the first things, it's about giving yourself grace. It's about giving yourself grace and acceptance, because guess what? Like there are always going to be things that we can say, negative self-doubts, negative self-talk. There are always going to be those things that tell us like, you're not good enough. You're not, oh, you need to lose some weight. You need to do this. You need to do all those things. But I think when you can, like you said, almost elevate into that place of like, I want to be, healthy. I want to take care of the body that God gave me.
Exactly.
And I'm doing it. My intentions for doing it is because, like you said, God gave me this one body, this one life. I want to take care of it. And I'm not trying to, go out and I'm not losing the weight because I'm trying to please the person standing next to me, or I'm doing these things. And I think that's so important because it takes it to a different level for me, like self-care. Right. Right on, spot on. I can remember when I was younger. Yeah, self-care looks like, oh, I'm going to get my nails done. Just that thing. I'm going to get my nails done, get my hair done. And now self-care is just like, it might be me sitting out in the sunroom on a Saturday morning, drinking a cup of coffee, reading my devotional. It's, writing in my journal. Like it just, as I think as our journeys change and evolve, and we evolve as people, the things, the tactics, the tools that we use to show ourselves the self-love and self-care, like they also elevate, they become deeper, like the connection to what's important to you like becomes, it's a deeper connection, right? So if it's like spiritually for you, like you said, for us is God.
God.
And if
Yeah.
it's like I'm trying to, like just deepen my connection to God, then I mean, I think you said this earlier and it made me chuckle because the number of times when someone's like, oh, I'm not getting my nails done, and it's a picture on Instagram or it's in a story, and Lord knows, like, I'm not saying like
No, do
that,
you? Yeah.
don't, if that's what you want to do you. But
Yeah.
it is like a lot of times, because I even think for people, social media can be overwhelming. It can be a lot for, especially when you talk about self-care, self-love. Like, you go to Instagram. I had somebody to tell me about a couple weeks ago, they were like, yeah, I just don't do social media because it doesn't make me feel good.
Mm,
And I remember at the time thinking to myself, I'm like, oh my God, like I just mute people whose stories like
yeah.
that. I mute people who are always doing too much. Like,
Yeah.
and then but that person, they were like, no, I just like it just makes me feel really bad about myself. And I really felt like really my heart went out to them. I was like, well,
Yeah.
you are enough. I said, quite
Yeah.
honestly, the fact that you aren't on social media, I was like, kudos to you, because it is a place, it's a rabbit hole. I was like, if
Right.
you aren't mentally like strong and you don't have a mentally strong mindset, I was like, the thing for me is that, like you mentioned, I know what God has for Kyra. And so
Right.
what he has for me is for me. So to see somebody else saying, like, oh, look how great my life is, cool. That's cool. Like, that's great for you. And mine is equally, probably as good. I just don't feel the need. I'm not a person that's like always on there like showing, because I'm trying to like be in
Right.
the moment and trying
Right.
to like part of like part of that self-care for me is like I don't need to show you every moment of what I'm doing.
Right.
And I want to be in the moment with what I'm doing.
Hmm. Yeah, I think a couple of things. I think one, back to the like body image. I think particularly as women, regardless of what we look like, there's usually some type of low self-esteem or low self-worth, or we should look different than we do, just like
Mhm.
within our society. And I think really getting that healthier mindset, that more empowered mindset is, what is the most highest version of me, of my body? Because even when we get on those journeys to like either like lose weight or get the curves or whatever it is, it's usually
Mhm.
because we're trying to look like something else.
Mhm. Mhm.
And when you get to the point where you say, how I look as I am is beautiful and enough,
Yeah.
exactly as I am, because there's also the toxic belief that weight is connected to health. Not true.
Right.
There are different body types for every body. It's not
Mhm.
this one cookie cutter mold. Like sometimes when I even look at like medication, it's like, this is the standard. I was like, for who? A 40-year-old white man? You know what
Mhm.
I mean? How can this be the standard for every single person taking this? Is it the
Right.
standard for the person that you made it for? But
Exactly.
maybe that's not me. So when we look at our body and our body image, think about who created that standard of beauty.
Mhm.
Right. And then that's why a lot of times people will lose weight, gain it back. They
Mhm.
have like kind of like will yo-yo up and down, or even
Yeah.
when they do quote lose the weight or get the curves, they're
Mhm.
still unhappy because they still have that same mindset of, when I get the thing, whether it's the
Mhm.
ring or the house or the money or the body, then I will be good enough.
Yes. Yeah.
Where it's the opposite.
Yeah. You gotta
I am
find.
already good enough.
Yes.
I am
Yes.
already worthy. I am already deserving exactly how I am. Therefore, I deserve the highest expression of my body. Therefore, I deserve a healthy romantic relationship. Therefore, I deserve to feel safe and supported with, financial freedom and the house that I want and the career that I love.
Mhm.
It's not that these things will give me my value and worth. It's because I'm already worthy and valuable that I deserve these things. So, like, one thing that I do, if I ever kind of feel about my body, I just sort of send it love. I just say, I love you, body. Thank you, body. Body, you hold my
Mhm.
spirit. Thank you, legs. You let me walk. Thank you, heart. You're
Mhm.
beating my blood. Thank you, lungs. Thank you so much. And then my prayer or my affirmation is, let the highest, most divine expression of my body now manifest. through love. Because a lot of times we think we're doing things for ourselves, the energy is actually hate. I hate the way I look. I'm going to go for a run. I hate the way I look. I'm going to stop eating carbs. I hate the way I look. I'm going to do this trend. I hate the way I look. I'm going to get a BBL. I hate the way I look. I'm going to go get liposuction. I hate, and you think in your conscious mind, oh, I'm doing this because I want to be healthy and hot. But subconsciously, you're doing it because you don't think that you're enough.
Exactly.
So you're actually sending hate to your body. So that's a shift. I love myself exactly as I am, and I want the highest, most divine expression of my divine health to shine through. And that's when you naturally, if you do have extra weight, it'll naturally come off, because usually you're holding it because the energy is hate. Or if you can't gain weight and you're too emaciated, because that's also another thing, being too thin or too skinny, that's also could not be good. Then you naturally kind of like fill out and start to glow. Because there are people, regardless of their body type, they glow different. They hit different. They hit different, right?
Yeah.
They walk in and they know who they are, and they're not looking to me or to anybody else to validate them. And those are the people that you want
Yes.
around that. It's that je ne sais quoi. It's that no F's giving. It's that unbothered vibe that is so sexy and attractive and magnetic that really has nothing to do with what they technically look like. It's an energetic thing. And then when you were talking about social media and Instagram and that stuff, like, I felt bad for the person that you were saying, because it seems like that person doesn't realize that they are the authority of their lives. They're letting social media run them rather than them running social media, right? If you just say, I'm not on social media because I don't like it. Okay, cool. Then don't be on it. But if you're, I'm not on social media because it makes me feel bad. Then that's what you need to look at. Because that's not about social media. That's about you. That's about you not feeling worthy and good enough, and comparison syndrome, and not having a healthy perspective on things. So it's not even about social media. It's about what's going on with you, that social media has this power over you, right? And one thing that I hate that people say, this is also toxic positivity. When people are like, oh, this person's on the gram and they're posting these pictures, but like, I don't feel bad because I know they're really in a bad place. Oh, they're posting this, but they broke. Oh, they posted this, but the guy is cheating. So I feel good about myself now. That is so toxic. Why is it that in order for you to feel good about you, you have to think somebody else isn't doing good?
You hear that all the time.
And you hear it all the time. And low-key, people think, co-sign it. Yeah, you're right. They front and they lie and they do this. Yeah, that's right. So don't feel bad about you because they don't have what they say they have. And on the surface, you don't realize how toxic that is. Why is it that in order for me to feel good about my life, I have to revel in somebody else's misery?
Exactly. You gotta, you just have to put someone else down. And,
you have to put somebody else down. Yeah.
And it's a very unfortunate thing, because I hear it all the time, when people, they're just putting all the good stuff on social media. They're just putting all the good stuff out there. And it's like,
good. Let them. I don't want
do we want them to
dumpster fire on Instagram?
It's like, do we want them to post like an argument with their spouse? I don't I would do that. So why is that a problem? If again, you hold the key, you have the right to say, I'm going to mute this person, I'm going to turn off notifications. Like, you can do all that and work on yourself in the background. Like, work on why this person. Because obviously it's a trigger, like, something is triggering you, and that when that person does something. So just like figure that out. Get some therapy.
Exactly. All right. I forgot self-concept.
Yes.
Oh yeah. So self-concept, which is different from self-love or self-care. Self-concept is, how do you think about yourself in relationship to individual things. So how do you think about yourself in relationship to romantic love versus in relationship to your finances versus relationship to your how you show up for your family or your friends or your body or your health? So when you look at your life holistically, all of the buckets, right? Your physical, your finance, your love, your friendship, and all of that, what is your self-concept to each of those things? Because that's why you can have people, and we've all been there, who they could be glowing up in their business, right? Business is booming, but yet their love life, they keep attracting, F boys, or, being ghosted, or just, being single, but they want to be in a relationship, because being single itself is fine. Like, that's okay. But if you want relationship, but you can't, or you find yourself in toxic, codependent relationships, right? Or you have people who have great relationships, but yet their mindset is, when $1 comes in, 10 goes out. I'm always in debt. I can never get up. People like me don't succeed. XYZ. So self-concept is, who do you believe you are, what you can be, do, and have in relationship to individual things? So that's really what your self-concept is. So if there's something in your life that isn't working, think about, what is my belief system when it comes to this area of my life? Like, do I believe that money comes easy to me, that my business will always work and boom, but I think that I'll always struggle in my health? That people in my family always suffer from this disease, or I will always struggle with X, Y, and Z, right? Or do you think, I can always eat what I want and I'm super healthy, it's fine. Like, I will always be healthy, but like, I really struggle with friendships. Girls don't like me. I have a really hard time connecting with other women, and I struggle in the friendship area. So think about what area of your life that you're not satisfied in, that you still are seeking things in, and think about, what is my belief system of who I am, who I get to be, do, or have within that particular section, and then work on that belief system.
I like it. What do you see as the secret to self-love?
Oh, I think the secret to self-love is cultivating a daily practice of self-forgiveness. I think we sometimes look over self-forgiveness and we jump into all the other stuff, but I really think the foundation that unlocks self-love is forgiving of self and of others as well, right? And when I say self-forgiveness, I don't mean that blaming yourself, or it's your fault, or criticizing or judging yourself. It's just saying that whatever I have been through, whatever I've done, whatever has happened to me, no longer has the power to make me feel less than, no longer has the power to make me feel worthless, no longer has the power to make me think that I don't deserve what I want in this world. That's why a lot of people, when they do get the thing, they don't enjoy it, or they can't hold on to it. If you make the money, but then you lose it, or you get the loving relationship and then it crumbles, or you finally get to that body and then you it all comes back, right?
Yeah.
So underneath that is the feeling of, I don't deserve what I have. So then subconsciously we will sabotage what we have, because we don't think that we're worthy of actually having it. So it's really shifting that subconscious belief of, I'm not good enough, I'm unworthy, I'm undeserving. So then when you do get the thing, you get to enjoy it and you get to keep it. So self-forgiveness and forgiveness of others really washes you of that undeservingness. Because if you don't think that you deserve forgiveness, either from yourself, from a higher power, from other people, then somehow you think that whatever happened to you or whatever you did means that you're still unworthy. And if you think you're unworthy, you think you're undeserving. So one thing you can do is what I do is just every morning I wake up and I just say, God, thank you for removing any, energy or spirit of unforgiveness, of bitterness, of resentment, of anger, of chaos, of argument, of confusion, that I have towards myself, that I have towards any other person or people, toward any event or circumstance or past. Right? Because it's not a conscious thing. You're not consciously walking around saying, I don't forgive myself, I'm holding on to this. It's not conscious, it's subconscious. That's why I ask, for divine help to remove what I'm not even aware of. And then since now I've freed up that space, now I decide what comes in, fill it up with divine love, fill it up with divine forgiveness, fill it up with divine abundance, fill it up with divine peace, let it flow now. And it's a daily thing, because as long as you are living, things are going to be happening. And then the more you do it and the more you do it, the easier it gets. And then the lighter and lighter you feel. So then when you do call in the love, when you do call in the health and body, when you do call in the money, when you do call in the house, when you do call in the career, when you do call in the friendships, it's rooted in the place of, this is what I deserve. That's why this is what I got.
I like that. Let's talk about manifestation.
Okay.
What is your definition of manifestation?
So the way I define manifestation is just making the invisible visible, just making whatever is intangible physically evident in our life or reality, right? So a lot of times we talk about the feeling is the secret. How do you feel? What is your state of consciousness, right? And then that's what you end up manifesting in your life. It's like Oprah said, you don't get what you want, you get what you believe to be true. And your belief system is really the invisible, the intangible place that you manifest from. So to make it in a very practical way, think about stress, right? Stress, it's invisible, it's intangible, it's a feeling. I feel stressed. But the way that stress manifests itself or makes itself physically evident is, I lose a lot of weight when I'm stressed. I gain a lot of weight when I'm stressed. My hair falls out when I'm stressed. I get ulcers when I'm stressed. I get a pit in my stomach when I'm stressed. I believe it. This might be controversial. So I think stress can cause like cancer or tumors or whatever, because you're holding it in, but that's how stress, the feeling, the invisible beingness of being stressed, makes itself evident in our life. That's manifestation. Not this frou-frou woo-woo thing. It's really making your feeling, your beingness made evident in your actual life. Think about say you want to manifest more abundance or more money, right? It's not that you want money, it's that you want to feel free. That's why it's called financial freedom. So the more that you cultivate the feeling of, I am free, I'm supported, I love freedom, blah, blah, blah. And you do this not through money, you do it through, usually, and how I do it is through, I'll walk in nature. And I'll just look at the sky and I'm like, oh, wow, I'm free. Look at all this abundance around me. Thank you, God, that I'm free. I'll hear the birds chirping. I'll look at the green grass, a dog, or, a baby, whatever it is. And so much abundance and freedom. I'm free to go on this walk. I'm free to enjoy all of this. And I cultivate the feeling of being free. And the way that the feeling of freedom makes itself evident, manifest in our physical reality, usually is through money. I'm free to do what I want. I'm free to buy what I want. I'm free to go where I want. I'm free to decide, the clients I take on. I'm free to decide the job that I have. Because money in our human reality gives you freedom, the freedom to choose. It also gives you safety. It also gives you support. So if you feel safe in your inner being, you could walk around. One great affirmation that I always say is, I am safe in this world. I am safe in this world. It is safe for me to show up fully in this world. I am fully supported at all times. God supports me. The divine supports me. Everything supports me. Money supports me, right? I'm fully supported, because what money gives us is safety, support, and freedom. And that's really what you want to feel. Who would care about how much money you had if you knew you were always free, safe, and supported? So that's why they say the feeling is the secret. That's why they say you have to become it before you get it. You have to get the feeling of free, safe, supported. And then the way that is evident in your life is through money, usually, as human beings, right? And think about love. If I feel loved in myself, if I feel chosen and cherished and respected and honored in myself, the way that makes itself evident, the way it manifests, usually is a healthy romantic partner, healthy friendships. That's a platonic love, healthy family relationships. That's a familial love, So the way that love of self manifests in your life is usually through the love of relationship with others that are now healthy and self-fulfilling and self-affirming, right? Because again, everything you want is within. So to me, yes, manifesting is very real. It's not some frou-frou thing. I personally, I'm not into certain things. I'm not into crystals. I'm not into anything in the occult. I'm not into I don't pray to the universe. That's really not for me. To each their own. I'm not knocking it. That's just not for me personally. For me, manifestation really is having a personal relationship with the divine, with God, and knowing that the power within me that gives me the power to manifest comes from the divinity that lives within me. That's why I have the power to shift my consciousness, to shift how I feel. And then that's what manifestation is. In the Bible, Jesus said himself, whatever you ask for in prayer, believe that you have it and will be given unto you. That is the blueprint for manifestation. Ask for what you want. The asking is knowing what you want. I want money, I want house or whatever. I want the feeling of this or that. Believing that you have received it, that is what we've been talking about, the becomingness of it. Believing that you're free, believing that you're loved, believing that you're safe, believe that you have received it. That's the becomingness, that's the belief, and it shall be given unto you. And the given unto you is the physical manifestation of it. So if you, and the thing is, when you pray or when you ask, the answer is always yes. It's either yes and you get it, yes, but not right now, or yes, but I'm going to give it to you in an even better way. But the only reason why you don't get what you quote ask or pray for is because you don't connect with the belief of it. Oh God, give me more money, but all day long I'm connecting to the belief of there's lack, there's not enough, how can I pay these bills, all of this stuff going on, I'm stressed out, all of this stuff. So you're asking for something, but then you're not connecting to the belief that you have.
You're not believing that.
Exactly.
You're not believing that it's going to be done. Like you've got to, like you said, you got to ask, and then you've got to activate your faith to believe that the promises will be given. The promises that God made to us, like we'll receive it. And
it's not ask, receive, it's ask, believe, receive. And people miss that part. It's like faith without works. The faith is the asking, the works is the belief. And that's why they say faith without works is dead.
Yes. I mean, and it's unfortunate because a lot of times people will ask and pray for something, but like you said, it's like all day, like someone may be praying for, love or, but all day it's like, well, I'm not worthy of loving. I'm not going to ever find anybody. Everybody has somebody but me. And if that's the mindset that you have, then of course, you're putting it out there. Like that's what you're telling God, like, well, I don't believe that you're going to do it. So
exactly.
So it's,
all the good men are taken, all men are dogs, men only want sex, blah 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 blah. No man wants to take care of a woman anymore, all of that stuff. People don't realize that what you predominantly think becomes your prayer. And then the more you pray that prayer, the more God says yes. And that's why what you predominantly believe to be true is what shows up in your life. And then you get to say, see, I told you so. It's like, yeah, you did. You told yourself that. You told yourself all men are dogs. They only want sex. Nobody wants commitment. There's nobody get out there. And look what showed up for you. You're exactly, you got exactly what you prayed for.
It's that, that's self-sabotage. You just self-sabotaged yourself into like exactly what you said you didn't want. So congratulations. Congratulations, friend.
I know. Good for you.
And I think that really actually leads into this next question. The role that self-love plays in manifesting.
So, yes. So the same way I think that self-forgiveness is the foundation of self-love, I think
Mm-hmm.
self-love is the foundation of manifesting.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you love yourself and accept yourself for who you are, then you get into that deserving space
Mm-hmm.
of, I don't have to be, quote, perfect or fixed or whatever weird, unattainable thing that society puts on us or we put on ourselves. I don't have to be perfect in order to be worthy and deserving of what I want. So when you cultivate self-love and then you start to intentionally manifest, your thoughts and belief system is from a place of, I am worthy and deserving of what I want in this world. So I'm no longer going to sabotage it. Because the person
Mm-hmm.
that says, I want a healthy relationship, but like we are just talking about all day long, says all men are dogs, they only want sex, all men are cheaters. What is actually underneath that is, I don't think I'm good enough for a high quality man.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I'm deserving of a high value man. I don't think I deserve to be taken care of. I don't think I'm worthy of being committed to. I don't
Mm-hmm.
think that I have more to offer than just my body or money.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I have to sacrifice myself in order to keep them.
Mm-hmm.
So that's really what is underneath all of that.
Right.
The all men are dogs, all men are this is just a projection because the
Mm-hmm.
fear is, I'm not enough.
Mm-hmm.
But when you're rooted in self-love, when you're rooted in your own divinity that lives within you, that simply because I exist, I am enough, and I am here, then that's when you shift rather than all men are dogs and this and that, you think, everybody commits to me. I only attract high quality men. I
Mm-hmm.
deserve to be taken care of. I am worthy of commitment. I am a high
Mm-hmm.
value woman. My presence
Mm-hmm.
is present. You know what I mean? All men love to chase me and prove to me. I get to choose who I get to be with. I am magnetic. I am this, I am that. That is really what do you bring to the table means.
Mm-hmm.
It's not this like, oh, if you want a high quality man, then you need to be a CEO and you need to have 5 cars and 3 houses. It's like, I'm not trying, like, no, that's not what it means.
Right.
That's not what it means. Because honestly, if you think about the most like, successful men, and I'm just being like heteronormative for this, but for everybody, however you identify, right?
Mm-hmm.
If they have their sort of, housewife trophy wives, those women know that, hey, I am valuable. Being with me ups your value. They're not out there being like, let me go build a Fortune 500 company to prove that I am worthy of my millionaire husband. I don't
Mm-hmm.
think he wants to marry a business partner. He wants to marry a life partner,
Mm-hmm.
right? So the women who are being taken care of, who are being committed to in that way, they're not thinking, I need to go out here and make 6 7 figures in order to be worthy of a man who makes 6 or 7 figures. That's not how it works. It's energetic matches. That's what equally yoked mean. It's not you have a Range Rover, you have a Range Rover, you get married because you're
Mm-hmm.
equally yoked. It's, do you have the same value system?
Mm-hmm.
Do you have the same
Exactly.
level of self-esteem and worthiness? That's what it means for like to attract like. That's what equally yoked is. When you see really happy couples, it's not because they have the same things, it's because they
Mm-hmm.
possess the same values,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
And
Yep.
so start manifesting, whether it's love or money or whatever it is, from a place of, I don't have to be perfect or change or do anything. I already am worthy of everything that I want. And from
Exactly.
that energetic place, you stop sabotaging the blessing that you're calling in. You stop stopping your own blessing. You stop stopping your own manifestation. That's why self-love is the foundation of healthy manifestations, because you're always manifesting. You're
Mm-hmm.
always manifesting, right? You manifested the crappy relationship. That was your own manifestation. So you're always manifesting, right? But
Yeah.
it's from what place are you manifesting from? Are you
Mm-hmm.
manifesting from lack? I'm not good enough. I'm not worthy. I have to prove my value and worth. Or are you manifesting from, I'm worthy and I'm enough? My value and lovability and worthy and deservingness is intrinsic. simply because I exist, I am enough? Or are you manifesting from a place of self-love and what you deserve and what you need? That's why you have a lot of people, you have those stories of like, oh, this girl was a waitress and then she met this like businessman or this actor guy, and then, she now lives this great life or whatever it is. Again, it's because she was probably cultivating, I don't care what my quote circumstance is. I know who I am. I know what I want, and I know what I deserve. That's why you have people who go from being homeless to being multimillionaires. It's not about your
Mhm.
circumstance.
Right. Yeah.
It's about what is your mindset? What is your belief system that you're cultivating? And you have to cultivate the mindset and the belief system before it actually shows up. That's why
Mhm.
you have to become it before you get it, right?
Yeah. Yeah. That's so
You have
true.
to, it's the belief. You believe it and then you receive it. So that
Mhm.
homeless person, we might look at them and say, oh, that homeless person, but in their own mind, in their own imagination, and their own connection with divinity, they're thinking, I know I'm going to get out of this. I know there's something better for me. I know that this is
Mhm.
only temporary. I know this too shall pass. I know that if I ask for something, I believe it, I will receive it. And then that's why we say in the manifestation community, circumstances don't matter.
Mhm.
Because look at so many people Steve Jobs, right? One of the most revered inventors of our time.
Mhm.
If you looked at the circumstances of him, you would not think he would have had the legacy he had. His circumstance was he was this founder, he was really hard to work with, he created this great company, and then they fired him from the company he created, only to then, years later, beg for him to come back because they realized how much they needed him. And then we have
Mhm.
iPhones, iPads, Apple, blah, 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 Steve Jobs, all of this stuff, right? So you would think, oh, the circumstance of starting your own company and then being ousted, you would count that person out.
Mhm.
But the only way you get counted out is when you count yourself out.
Exactly.
So that's really what manifestation is. And that's why
Mhm.
self-love is so important, because you don't get what you want. I want the relationship. You get what you believe to be true for yourself. And
Mhm.
that's self-concept. Self-concept
Yeah.
is, what do you believe to be true for you? What can you be? What can you do? And what can you have? And more importantly, how you expect the world to show up for you. That is what
Mhm.
your self-concept is.
Mhm. I like it. Awesome. Okay, tell me about self-soothing and why is
Oh,
that important?
so self-soothing really is the anchor of like your self-care practices, but to me, I think it's more of like in the moment. So if you feel yourself being triggered, if you feel yourself being activated, what do you do in that moment to calm your nervous system, to soothe yourself down so you don't go into reaction mode? You're able to respond from a place of clarity and power. So some things that I do is breathing, like just a
Mhm.
breath work technique. Like if I feel like I'm getting triggered or I'm being activated, I'm getting irritated by something, or just like a little, we all get pissed off and upset. Before I let it take over, I just breathe through it.
Mhm.
Whew, just like breathe it down, do 5 in, count for 4, whatever works for you. But just how do you soothe yourself? How do you calm and steady your nervous system? So then you can respond from that place of clarity and from peace and from your personal power. And really the purpose of self-soothing is to bring you back to the present moment. Because when you're being triggered, when you're getting upset, when you're getting activated, you're either starting to relive a past trauma that it feels like, or in that moment, you're just not being present and you're being activated, right? Like think about, say you're at the grocery store and somebody says something real crazy to you and you feel really
Mhm.
disrespected, right? Instead of allowing that person to trigger you, you can do your breath work. You can
Mhm.
count to 10, you can tap. I also like tap. Sometimes I just like tap my wrist, I'll tap, or
Mhm.
I'll tap my fingers together because
Mhm.
it calms you down. And or
Mhm.
even just like your forehead. I don't care what people think. Take care of yourself. Who gives an F? Just take care of you. Tap yourself down. Because it just really brings you to the present moment. Think about a
Mhm.
baby. When a baby is crying, right? What do? We hold it. We
Mhm.
soothe the baby. We pacify it. That's
Yeah.
why it's called a pacifier.
Mhm.
Bring it back to peace, to bring it back to the present moment, to soothe it, to calm it down. So that's what happens to us when we get activated and triggered. It's that inner child being like, oh, wait a minute. I know what this feels like. I know what disrespect feels like. I know what being dismissed
Mhm.
feels like. I know what anger feels like. I'm being activated. So you're soothing that inner child, saying, it's okay, baby. It's okay, sweetheart. I got you. We're good. I can take care of you now. It's okay. That's why you
Mhm.
have people who have like road rage, right?
Mhm.
Somebody cut somebody off, all of a sudden, you after they're swearing and they're going and they're getting
Mhm.
all this crazy stuff. And it's like, and when you look back, you're like, what? You know what I mean? Like, somebody
Yeah.
didn't signal. Now you
Yeah.
guys are fighting in the street. Like, what? You know, it's because they didn't have the tools to say, wait a minute,
Yeah.
is this response or is this reaction? Because it's not a response. Is this reaction
Mhm.
proportionate to what's going on? Or am I really just, reacting to how the anger that I've pushed down, the
Mhm.
feeling of being disrespected pushed down, the feeling of not being good enough pushed down, right?
Mhm.
Because in those moments, what's coming out is what's already in you.
Right. Yeah.
Like it's like say you have an orange and you squeeze that orange. No matter how hard you squeeze that orange, you will not get apple juice. You will not get lemon juice. You won't get pomegranate juice. You will only ever get orange juice because the only thing that can come out of you under pressure, it is what is already in you. So when that orange is under pressure, it doesn't transform into a lemon, you get orange
Right.
juice.
Yeah.
So when you are under pressure and what comes out of you is anger, it's because the anger, that energetic anger that was in you, is looking for a way to express itself because you pushed it down and you pushed it down, you pushed it down. So you may not be angry at the person who cut you off. You might be angry at the guy who cheated on you. You might be angry
Mhm.
at your father who left you. You might be angry at your mom who belittled you. You might be angry at the sister who wasn't there for you. You might be angry, 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 but you pushed it down. And like it says, energy cannot be created nor destroyed. You have to shift through it. You have to transmute it. But when you don't hold space for it, when you don't address it, when you numb it and push it down, it is still there.
Right.
That's why some people get angry under pressure. And that's why some people have grace under pressure
Mhm. Yeah.
because whatever is in them is what's coming up.
Yes. I love those examples.
Yeah.
All right, so these have been all really great nuggets today, Candy. Why don't you tell everybody out there how they can connect to you?
Yeah. So the best way to connect with me is to go to my site, candywashington.com/courses. And there you can check out all of my courses. You can get a free self-love guide. You can join our Patreon community as well if you want that extra support. And then you can also join us on TikTok and Instagram, all at Candy Washington. But if you go to candywashington.com/courses, all of that stuff is there, all of the free stuff, all of the courses, all the social media. And I'm going to give you guys a special 10% off discount code. You can use glow up 10 and that will give you a 10% discount on everything that I offer.
Awesome. We
Yeah.
love that. Make sure
Glow up.
you
Yeah.
yeah, make sure you take advantage of that. And we'll put all this information in the show notes as well. All
Perfect.
right, so before I let you go, I'm going to quickly go into three things with Candy. I'm going to ask you three questions so the audience gets to know you a little bit better. One is two-parter. How do you start and end your day?
Ooh, I start my day doing the self-forgiveness practice that I went over in the beginning. That's before I'm out of bed. But also a part of that, I protect my energy because I'm a very sensitive soul. So I really absorb a lot of energy. So I protect it. I just say, I have, for me, this is my own personal belief. I just say I have the white light of Jesus Christ around me. I have Christ consciousness and nothing negative can penetrate me. There is nothing to oppose my good. It dissolves anything that's not divinely meant for me. Only what is divinely meant for me can come through. So
Mhm.
before I start my day, I protect myself. I protect my energy. I get full up. I'm full of divine love, divine peace, divine abundance. And then I also ask for support. God, I'm open and ready to receive your divine guidance, your divine support. Show me the way. So then I'm starting my day from a place of I've forgiven myself and everybody else. I'm full up with love, peace, support, and abundance. And I'm also protected. I really want to protect myself.
Mhm.
And then I do certain affirmations, and then I do a certain prayer that I do every morning. And that sort of starts the day. And then I always make my bed. Always. I have to make my bed. It just feels really good to get it done. And then another thing in the morning that I do is I've really stopped fighting myself in the morning. So I used to think I had to have this like get 5 a.m. club, get up early and be all super productive in the morning. And that's what people do. And then I was just like, hold up, Candy, practice what you preach, girl. How about you design your morning based on who you authentically are and not trying to copy and paste what the quote gurus, boss babes do. Cultivate your own morning routine. So unless I have like a meeting or something in the morning, I don't care what day it is, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I sleep in until I no longer want to sleep. Because I was pushing against what my own body needed. Because I'm much more of a night owl, And I was like, why build a business that you work for yourself if you're still going to put these stupid restraints on yourself that don't really matter? If you're still being productive throughout your day, why does it matter if I wake up at 5 a.m. or 8 a.m.? So wake up early and be miserable, but then I would wake up at 8 and feel refreshed and happy because that was the natural rhythm of my body. Again, it goes by like who created these quote standards for whose routine and for whose body. So it's much just like with like intuitive eating. If I want to eat something, what is good for my personal body? So my sleep cycle, what is right for my personal body? So that's kind of how I start my morning routine for me. And then always coffee.
And how do you end the day?
How do I end my day? So usually I will snuggle up and watch something on TV, whether it's like a mystery or a thriller or something like that. So that's kind of how I tend to just like wind down. And then before I go to bed, I just say, I'm going to easily fall to sleep. I'm going to have a very restorative sleep and I'm going to wake up very joyful. Sometimes I do sleep affirmations, I'll have it on at night. So it's really just like a wind down, chill process where I sort of just disconnect from the day, set my attention for the night, and then sometimes I'll do sleeping affirmations.
Awesome. Like it. Fantastic. Okay. Tell us a little bit more about your podcast and where people can listen.
Yes, so it's The Soft Life with Candy Washington, and we talk about self-love, healthy relationships, and manifestation. And I break everything down into very tangible and practical tools and techniques that you can start using. It's no fluff, it's no buzzwords, it's no woo-woo stuff. It's really just, oh, you want more self-confidence? Here are 3 things you can do today. Oh, you want to start feeling better about your body? Here are 3 things that you can do today. Oh, you want to start manifesting, intentionally manifesting in your life? Well, this is what manifestation is. Here are 3 different tools and techniques that you can use, that you can do it. So it gives you true tools and techniques. And then I also debunk a lot of stuff, like the toxic lie about self-care has now become one of my biggest episodes, because I debunk a lot of the toxic wellness, toxic positivity, toxic manifestation stuff that's out there so that you don't kind of fall trapped to that. Because it's not about how you look. It's not about how much money you're spending. It's not about any of that stuff. It's really at its core, you realizing that you are the best thing about you. You realizing that you are worthy and you are valuable and you are deserving exactly as you are. And there's nothing, I don't care what has happened, what hasn't happened, there is nothing that can take that away from you. And when you learn to love and accept yourself, then your life can show up fully. And so you can find that on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, really wherever you listen to your podcast.
Awesome. All right. So before I let you go, I want you to give the audience what are 3 things you'd like the audience to take away from our conversation today?
The first thing I would say is once you start your self-love journey, Be prepared to lose people. Because the moment you start to love yourself and prioritize yourself and have healthy communication, healthy boundaries, healthy self-esteem of self, that might bother people who benefited from you not. So be prepared that the cost of entry of honoring your life might be losing some people, and it might be friends, and it might be some family. And allow yourself to mourn the loss of those relationships, but know that whatever is taken from you will always be restored even more. So then the new relationships you build with people will be even better. They'll be authentic, they'll be interdependent, they'll be reciprocal, they'll be fulfilling. So in the relationships that you lost, usually is around guilt, usually is around codependency, usually is around you over giving, over pleasing. And now that that person can no longer use you in the way that they used to use you, that might they might no longer want to be friends with you, or you might have to say goodbye to family. So be prepared for that, but know that healthier, more fulfilling relationships are just around the corner. So that's the first thing. And then the second thing I would say is really cultivate a loving mental lifestyle. We talk about lifestyle a lot of ways. Oh, what's your lifestyle? I travel. I'm an entrepreneur. I do this, that, da, 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 da. The lifestyle that you really want to cultivate is your mental lifestyle. How do you talk about yourself throughout the day? Are you talking to yourself in a loving way? Are you talking to yourself in a self-hating way? Cultivate a loving. For me, I cultivate a luxurious mental lifestyle. I walk around my day, I'm like, oh, girl, Candy, you are a VIP. Everybody loves you. You are the daughter of the Most High King. Everything makes way for you. Oh, girl, of course you got this. Your business is always booming. I cultivate and this is all, and remember, this is all an internal game. You're not going outside and saying this to the world. This is what you're saying to yourself, right?
Yeah.
Just for people to know, this is grounded in reality. We're not crossing over any woo-woo lines. This is all in your mind. Cultivate the mental lifestyle that you want to actually live in your life. Oh, I'm so magnetic, I'm so sexy, everything works out for me at all times, blah, 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 blah. Cultivate the lifestyle in your mind that you actually want to live. Because you could be doing this, that, and the third outside and still mentally struggling and still mentally being miserable. So that's what I would say. Cultivate a loving, compassionate, for me, luxurious mental lifestyle for yourself. And then the third thing I would say is really cultivate a spiritual practice. Like I said before, I'm not really into crystals, tarot, any of that stuff. What I mean by spiritual, is cultivate a relationship with a higher power, whatever that higher power is for you. Cultivate that, pray, journal, ask for support, seek support, from that higher power, right? Dear God, or dear infinite spirit, or dear divine, whatever it is, this is what I'm going through. Can you show me the way to get through it? This is what I'm going through. I'm seeking your divine support and guidance, or this is what I want. Open the way for it to come. Don't think that you have to figure everything out and, live this life on your own. I personally do believe in God or a higher power or whatever, what we want to call it. And I think that the beauty of being a human being is knowing that God lives within you, and that God is for you, and that God wants you to have a life and have it more abundantly. And so I choose to trust and believe that. And the only thing that keeps me separate from that is me not asking and believing it. Right? So don't think that you have to bear the burden of life on your own. You don't. You have this beautiful consciousness, intelligence, unconditional love that is just waiting to help you. So seek that divine support. And then a part of that as well, also seek support from other people. Find friends who are mentally glowing up, because that's the real glow up. Emotional intelligence, healthy communication, self-esteem, and self-care, right? That's the real glow up. Find other like-minded people who see you as their collaborator and friend and not their competition, right?
Yeah.
find a good therapist, find a good life coach, find a good spiritual advisor, find a good, group. It could even be like a sports group or people you get together and go painting with or hiking, but don't isolate yourself. Don't think that you can't seek support from a higher power and that you can't seek support from other people, because you can. So, and I think that's also a basis of loving yourself, is knowing that you're worthy of support.
Awesome. Thank you so much. That was
Yeah.
so great. Well, I certainly enjoy having you here today and having this conversation with you, Candy. You can always come back to see us in the future. Well, best of luck in everything you do, my friend. And like I said, definitely stay connected to us here at Glow Up Girl.
I will. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Stay tuned, everyone. I'll be right back. Welcome back to the Glow Up Girl podcast. I'm Kyra. I want to thank Candy again for joining the show today. Such an inspiring guest and such great tips that we can all use as we continue on our self-love and personal journeys. If you want to learn more about her, check out the links in the show notes. If you'd like to learn more about Glow Up Girl, visit us at glowupgirl.com. You can check out past podcast episodes, sign up to join the show, grab our social links, and so much more. Be sure to also check out our career-focused podcast episodes as well. It's where I share my personal journey relating to my career. And be sure to join us over on Patreon and unlock your potential with the Glow Getter membership. When you join our community, you'll gain exclusive access to career tips, guidance, resources, and more. They're all designed to help you create a career and life you love. So whether you're starting out or leveling up, our membership empowers you to reach new heights. And if you're listening on a platform where you can leave us a review or rate the show, please do so. Also, make sure you're sharing this podcast with your friends, family, and coworkers. Don't keep all this goodness to yourself. And be sure to tag us in your posts. If you know anybody I should be interviewing, you've got any show ideas, please make sure you send me an email at hello@glowupgirl.com or shoot me a DM on Instagram. We're at Glow Up Girl. Thanks again for joining me today. I really appreciate all the support. I love when all of you show up and when you send me messages about the episodes. I really appreciate it. So until next time, stay focused, fab, and glow up. Take care, everyone.